All right then. Okay. All right, let's call the December 2024 CalSAWS JP Board of Directors meeting to order. We do have confirmation of quorum. We on our agenda, we have a closed session item, and then we have one vote action item and 4 vote consent items. 6 informational items on the calendar for you today, so hopefully we'll be able to move through the agenda and get everybody out of here on time. So this is the point at which we have public comment on items not listed on the agenda. Okay, hearing none, we will commence into our closed session. So this session will stay open for public purposes, and we will commence a closed session and we'll return we're done with closed session.
এটা কি? Sorry, my bad. Hey there.
Okay, we're back in regular session. So coming out of closed session, nothing to report out there. So we're going to go ahead and start out with our action items. Very first action item.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I will, that's me, Holly Murphy here. So what we're asking for the board today is to approve the Deloitte CalSAWS M&E Services Agreement. So a little bit of background on this, if you can jump to that slide. So the scope associated with this agreement includes the application maintenance of the SCRs or system change requests. That includes CalHERS, SCRs, and other ancillaries. It includes defect resolution, performance management, service desk level 3 support, batch operations, as well as application security. We also included automation for bots, workload assignment, and some recurring services for WebTech. We also plan for future innovation activities after the transition period. And then we also have accommodated a change allowance for future premise and county purchases. So today we're seeking approval from the board for the base term and costs of the agreement. The base term includes a 12-month transition period as of February 1st, 2025 through the end of January 2026. And then Deloitte would assume responsibility for M&E thereafter through the end of January 2032 for a total base term of 7 years. The total cost of the base term is noted on the slide there is $432 million. That includes $342 million for transition and M&O services for the 7-year period, as well as the change allowances as noted. The contract does also include optional extension years for up to 4 additional years in 1-year increments for future consideration. And those would be brought to the board at a future meeting. The costs are within the budget for the current year and next year and accounted for in our JPA project budget as well for the current year. So that's back to you for questions.
Okay. Any questions or comments from our state partners or board members on this item? Okay. Hearing none. Any public comment on this item? Okay. Also hearing none. Do I have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
Well, a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
All right. Kelly?
Yes, that was me. Yes.
All right. Bill?
Yes.
Melissa? Approve. Veronica?
Yes.
Kristen?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes. Wasn't my wife. Okay, then that takes us into consent items. We have a slate. Oh, oh, please, I'm sorry. So, do you want to announce yourselves?
Sure. Well,
Deloitte team.
yeah, thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you to the board and Julia for having us today. I'm Jason Salzetti. I'm the current government public services leader for Deloitte in the U.S. And come January, I'll be the new CEO of Deloitte Consulting. So really excited to be here. I have spent probably close to the last 15 years working in and around California. I live in the East Bay, so I live in Contra Costa County. I've lived in, I think, 4 other counties in the state, worked in dozens over the course of my career. And really, this is personal for me. And then for our team, I couldn't be any more delighted of the role that we're going to play to partner with all of you. And I wanted to be here today to just express, my personal commitment, the commitment on behalf of Deloitte to continue to be your partner, to really make sure that, we bring our very best. We understand that what's at stake here. We understand the mission of the consortium, counties, and all of your stakeholders across the state. And just couldn't be more thrilled to continue our relationship with you and on this scale and to bring innovation, consistency, stability, and really enhance the system and make it everything you all need it to be to really execute on your mission. So I just wanted to be here today to say thank you, a deep sense of gratitude and understanding a deep sense of responsibility for what's ahead of us and our commitment to the consortium. So thank you very much for having us today.
Thank you, Jason. Will,
I
did you say
just-
something?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Will Carroll, I lead our West work for state and local government. I've spent my entire 25 years at Deloitte working in the eligibility space. This is an incredible honor. This is the most unique system in the country. And as people who have spent our careers doing this, the opportunity to do this here with you all is amazing. Thankful to Accenture for the work they've done to get you here. We know it's been a tremendous amount of work, successful. We thank them for that work. We look forward to working with them smoothly through the transition over the next year and ensuring we continue to deliver amazing service.
Hi, my name is Rakesh Daragutta, and first of all, that picture is pretty old. I am no more that young. So,
Mine is too.
so it's good to see that. But just a little background for me, I've also practiced mainly in integrated eligibility projects ever since I was fresh out of college way back in 2002. And my first project was Calvin, where I was a conversion lead. It's a thankless job, as you know, it's conversion. And I worked with all the 18 counties consortium to kind of make sure that we have great results and outcome for the client. That is one commitment I bring to this table, is I have seen what it takes to generate those positive outcomes, because you know how the data goes and how we run those processes. I've done multiple projects, transition in, as well as I've done a transition out when I was an ISOS project manager. But I bring that commitment to the consortium and making sure that we transition successfully and we seamlessly operate the business over here. So thank you for your opportunity. I'm really, really excited about this.
Thanks, Jason, Will, and Rakesh. I'd love to get some time with you guys on further down the road, just to kind of share expectations. We'll be one of your toughest clients, but your best clients. We're gonna demand everything that we need to on the behalf of the citizens in California. So we're looking forward to you guys stepping up to the plate. So thank you very much. You're welcome. I also want to thank our Accenture partners. They've been tremendous for the last 23 years that we've worked together across all the different CalSAWS projects. You guys have been amazing. Had some long relationships, and I know this is not easy when we have transitions like this, but I do want to really thank you on behalf of all the 58 counties in California and on behalf of LA County. I got a great experience working very closely with almost all of you. And you guys have delivered for us throughout the years, and I continue to count on you delivering us through a transition, and expect you guys to be fighting for every procurement we put out, because we really want you still in the mix. So I do want to pass along those that thanks and gratitude, and I know it isn't near enough, but that's what I have to offer. So thank you. Okay, so we do have a slate of consent items. I believe there's 4 here, so we can go through that slate.
So included are the minutes from the prior meeting, and we also have 3 contract items. Accenture change notice 37, that includes some additional transition out scope to support the infrastructure transition out, and includes job shadowing and reverse job shadowing activities that are coming up in the next couple of months. And this will utilize 406,000 of the 10 million transition allowance, leaving 8.6 million for future work. It also includes 4 county purchases and administrative adjustments. The administrative adjustments are updates to managed operations costs, which are less than planned, and some additional hours for some technical street upgrades with no overall cost impact for that change in reconciliation. The 4 county purchases are Amador. There's some administrative charges for equipment refresh, for asset tagging, things like that. Madera, also the same. There's some charges for kiosk refresh. Plumas County, asset tagging and administrative charges for equipment refresh, and Tehama also for kiosks and some ongoing support for the lobby management devices. That will utilize 19,848 of the original 35 million allocation for purchases, leaving 12.9 million for future county purchases. Overall, the costs are accounted for in the CalSAWS IAPU and county funding. Current year costs are accounted for in the JPA project budget. We have best change order 9. This is exercising the remaining 2 of 3 optional years. We exercised 1 of the extension years last year, and this exercises the remaining 2 of 3. The change order increases the total contract value by 13.4 million for a revised total contract value of 55.6 million. Costs are accounted for in the CalSAWS IAPU, as well as separate funds items for change allowances. And the current year costs are accounted for in the JPA project budget. And then lastly is Amendment 42 with Regional Government Services. That's RGS. This is our staffing support for the project. This includes the addition of 2 new positions. It's actually a shift of existing positions, however, as we repurpose and reorganize the scope. It also includes updates to our cost of benefits and a reconciliation of our FTE counts. So the 2 new positions are the communication manager, which is responsible for external messaging to counties and public, managing our PRA process and coordinating with advocacy community. It also includes the addition of an equity and language access lead responsible for advancing equity and accessibility across the consortium. And again, these are positions that are shifts, repurposing existing positions. And the costs are accounted for in our IAPU as well as the JPA budget. And with that, I turn it back to Michael.
My first question was what you'd answered on the last part, whether or not we have this reflected in our APDUs, and we do. Okay. Any questions from our board members, state partners on the slate of 4 consent items? Okay. Hearing none. Any public comment on this slate? Okay, hearing none. Do we have a motion to approve the slate? I'll move. Thank you, Greg.
1 second.
Do we have a second? Oh, thank you.
Was that Kelly?
That was Kelly.
Yeah.
Marla? Yes. Bill?
Yes.
Melissa?
Approve.
Veronica?
Yes.
Kristen?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Michael,
No.
me.
Yeah, I said it as if he was still on. Okay. And Cynthia?
Yes.
All right, that concludes our voting items, and I believe that's going to take us to informational items with monthly performance trends up first.
Yeah, Arnold.
All right, hello, everybody. Arnold Malvik with Accenture Project Executive. This is covering the timeframe of September through November of this year. Overall, we were 100% across all metrics. We did have one issue on October 11th with our contact center ECCP. That's the Enhanced Call Control Panel. There was a deployment that had an issue with it that caused ECCP to reject new logins. Existing calls were able to be handled by the agents. Calls were not lost in queue, and agents who were unable to use ECCP were able to use default during that timeframe. The team was able to resolve the issue. We understand that it definitely had an impact to efficiency within the centers, and we have taken steps to address the root cause of what occurred during the deployment process. Moving over to the lower right-hand quadrant on the onshore offshore metrics, we continue to deliver work for the CalSAWs from 63% onshore ratio and 37% offshore. Again, that mix is contractually capped at 40%, but it's really the mix of work and how much work we do with the PII that governs our ratios. Quality remains outstanding out of each of our releases, as has been the trend for the last 20+ years. So with that, I'll turn it over to Benefits Cal to review Benefits Cal SLAs.
Sure, thank you, Arnold. Good morning, everyone. From the Benefits Cal SLA standpoint, for the time period September through November, the Benefits Cal was exceeding or meeting all the SLAs that has been defined, and we met all the SLAs throughout that time period, and the system has been performing pretty well. In terms of the onshore-offshore staffing mix standpoint, we maintain the consistent staffing mix with 55% for offshore and 45% onshore, and we will, continue to monitor our performance trends and staffing mix as we move forward for the next upcoming board meetings. With that, I will be passing over to Sarah for the Highlands SLA and the staffing.
Thank you and good morning. Sarah Kiewit with Highland for the imaging SLAs in the middle right portion there. For monthly uptime, the target each month is 99.9%, and for September through November, we were at 100% for each month. The page views and database transactions each have a monthly target of 90%, which you can see were met for each month with an average of 99.32% for the last 3 months for providing page view access to 70 kilobyte pages in 2 seconds or less, and 99.89% average over the last 3 months for database transactions completing in 1 second or less. And that's the Highland update. Thank you.
All right, Michael, back to you.
Any comments, questions from our board member state partners on that initial presentation? Okay, I like seeing those 100 numbers. Any public comment? All right, then we'll move on to the next presentation. Thank you all for the presenters.
All right, Lynn, the Benefits Cal update.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, just a real quick update on the ROI work group. Again, we continue to wait for DHCS and CDSS to be able to publish their letters. They are definitely working on them and getting them through their legal channels within their respective agencies. So we're waiting and in anticipation of potentially later this month. And with that, I'll turn it over to Blake and Owner.
Thank you, Len. Following the release of information work group updates, next 2 topics we would like to provide an update this morning to our JPA board is first is North Stars from the usage and adoption standpoint, and then the county visits. In the previous JPA board meetings, you heard us talking about the North Stars, primarily the overarching goals and objectives from the usage and adoption of the Benefits Cal portal, not only for the existing customers, but also for the users under the CalSAWS ecosystem, as well as the rest of the Californians. And those North Stars has been shared with our advocacy partners, advocacy groups, as well as our counties throughout SCRFI. And in the last few weeks after our last meeting, JPA board meeting, we received feedback from our counties to SCRFI. And Blake will walk us through for the key teams. And also before that, we have received feedback from our advocacy group. We would like to thank them for sharing their inputs for those. And after that, we will be providing an update for our county visits as an extension of our UCD activities. We have been visiting our counties to get the perspectives from our counties, as well as our customers in terms of the usage of the Benefits Cal, if there is any pitfalls affecting the usage and adoption of this Benefits Cal portal even further, as we would like to overall want to move the needle, as we move forward in 2025 and the future. With that, handing over to Blake to walk us through the North Star feedbacks.
Thanks, Owner. As Owner talked about, we addressed this a few months back. This was in a previous JPA meeting. So that's the original North Stars you can see on the left-hand side of this slide. Key themes that we saw overall from this feedback are going to be kind of general updates to language around some of the current North Stars. There was quite a few suggestions around KPIs and how they would tie to North Stars, kind of how it integrates with counties and advocate operations, as well as a handful of new North Star suggestions. So next steps for this, we'll be working on refinements to the North Stars that we'll kind of share out in a future meeting, so we can kind of close and solidify that from a direction standpoint. Can we move to the next slide, please? And we'll talk about county visits. Alrighty, Owner touched on this as a continued extension of our UCB activities. We've been conducting county visits to increase touch points with county workers and evolve our insights across the customer and worker journey throughout the benefits process, right? Working to understand, like, what is the story on the ground, day-to-day differences between county operations, how it's perceived by different groups, meeting them where they are overall. So quick update where we're at for right now. We visited Alameda County, went to 5 offices there. This last week, we were in Los Angeles County. We went to 2 CBOs, 4 customer service centers, 8 county offices. And then next week, we will be traveling to Sacramento to do county visits there as well. So when we move on to next steps in all this data we're collecting through interviews and surveys overall and ethnographic observations, shadowing pieces, we want to look at taking that and refining that as we come moving it forward into the next quarter, as far as the insights we gather to create transparency across, as well as for additional county visits. This is the same piece you guys heard me talk about last month a little bit, as far as the goal for this overall is to build continual living documents that understand worker and customer journeys throughout, so we can understand how that focuses end to end overall, and where we have areas for enhancement for adoption and understanding between workers and as well as customers overall. So I'm going to give a little outline of kind of how these go to provide a little bit more transparency into the mechanics of the process of how these visits go. So as we move forward, when we look into having this recurring as we move into 2025 and doing these visits quarterly, everyone kind of has an outline of what does this look like, right? What makes up a county visit? Kind of what are some of the main key pieces around that? So initially, we'll work with regional managers to find dates, timelines, logistics, kind of around the visit to get that ball rolling. During the actual visit, those usually range from around 3 to 5 hours, depending on, time of the month, traffic of that visit, the size and scale of that potential office that we're visiting. Once we're in the office, it comes down to, like, we're usually doing intros, kind of overview of general operations of that office. What's the breakdown of the physical location to understand that kind of physical space, how customers are moving through. And from there, we'll move on to, we follow the flow of traffic because it helps us understand how the customers are moving through that interaction, how it goes from customer comes in, outside the building, inside the building, moving through triage process, all the way through to interviews, working with the district workers. That whole parts will follow that end to end. Throughout this process, because we're running teams generally of 2 to 6 folks or so, depending on the office and scale and size, we're also distributing short surveys relative to Benefits Cal, so that the workers, as they interact with customers, can be an additional touch point for us for gaining data points to understand what's their perception, understanding with Benefits Cal overall, as we also shadow them and understand the parts of their workflow as we go through. And then throughout this process, our teams are splitting and dividing to conduct user interviews with customers throughout the lobby and to understand their needs and awareness as it relates to benefits overall, as well as understanding adoption of Benefits Cal, barriers they might be having throughout
Wait.
that process. Yeah.
Sorry, this isn't in the deck, and so we don't have anything to reference
Okay.
at this point, and we're behind. So I'm sorry, this is a fascinating, process. I just want to make sure we're cognizant of time. So is there anything you want to say to wrap up that section?
Yeah, that was actually the last point that I had. So I just want to thank the county's regional managers and directors and all the staff who supported for this. And we look forward to doing this with more counties in the coming months.
All right, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. This is right in line with what I was hoping we would do, and that's to get out on the ground and find out, how our solutions are being experienced from both consumer and also from a fulfillment standpoint on the worker side. So hopefully this will generate future initiatives that we can create to make this platform the best it can be. So thank you very much for that. Any comments or questions from our state partners or our board members?
This is Kristen from Los Angeles. Just to echo Michael on that and say that our team very much enjoyed the visit, and thank you for the partnership.
Thank you.
Any other comments from our board members or state partners? Questions? Okay, hearing none. Any public comment?
Hi, this is Jen from the Advocates Group. I just want to first acknowledge, thank you for taking the time to explore the customer experience and spending time doing the interviews. I'm curious if, given that customers are bringing their expertise to this process to support the company to earn, this contract and earn money, are those customers being compensated for the expertise that they're bringing to the process?
When we look at customers throughout the visit, these are usually just short touch points that we go through as we conduct research. And we've talked to several directors about this overall as we expand Benefits Cal research opportunities. Customers are compensated for that in accordance with what we continually do for that part.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Any other public comment? The air kicked in, that's good. It's not like it's hot outside. Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our next item. Thank you very much to the presenters.
All right, I'm gonna be loud in case, can everyone hear me? Oh, wait, I'm always kind of loud. Let's get some energy back in the room. So as we close out the calendar year, we are not done. You heard me say this last month. We are closing in on about 1,000 system changes just for the core platform. For anyone playing along this month, we have some of our COLAs that we're running. We have our SSA COLA, in fact, is going to run this weekend. We have 2 million programs that we're going to process through batch EDC and apply those COLA values. We also have one of our smaller runs, which is the statewide minimum wage increase. Moving into January, as you know, we're working on our January baseline release. There are over 60 system change requests in that. As it stands today, we are active on all fronts of system test, county validation, as well as quality assurance testing. From a core system test perspective, we are about 43% executed and passed on that release. We always work hard. Our test teams are always working hard. And especially challenging during the holiday season. So we're making good progress before we let everyone enjoy their families and friends this holiday season. So we have a few more weeks in January before that goes out the door. Simultaneously, we're also testing our February release, which is a joint release with our CalHears system partners. So that is, choking is in system test as well. And our March release is already in development and well underway there. So lots of activity continues from a release and policy perspective. And next slide, we can skip all together. So I gave you the highlights and I'll give you time back. Michael, who's not in the room, so Julia?
Yes.
I'll take it. Oh, Mala.
I can take it.
Yeah, you can go.
Yeah. Thanks, Lisa, for the update. Any questions or comments from board members or state partners? Hearing and seeing none. Any public comment? Hearing and seeing none, I think we can go to the next item, which is the infrastructure transition.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marla.
So from the infrastructure transition perspective, we just wanted to give a quick highlight on what steps we are in. So just as a quick reminder, we outlined at the higher level a 5-step process. Document review being the first one. The things that are shaded here are the things that are done. This was an independent research process that we had done to make sure that we reviewed all the documentation that was available in the area. Knowledge transfer, we have completed knowledge transfer largely. We have a few items that we are finishing up, but knowledge transfer was where we had discussions and conversations and PowerPoint decks with Accenture to walk through specific questions we had based on that documentation and or any processes that they wanted to highlight for us. We have moved into that third square, which is shadowing and reverse shadowing. It's sort of half highlighted there because we are in the shadowing part. Shadowing is where we are observing Accenture actually doing the activity. So watching their screens, asking questions as they conduct the actual activity. That is the large focus for December. We have started that process and it is underway. We anticipate wrapping for most areas that by the end of December. There will be some in January. And then the focus in January will be to move into reverse shadowing, which is where our staff actually conducts the item and we do the work and Accenture observes us. So there is some slide back and forth. There are some things where we're already doing the reverse shadowing, but largely we're in shadowing this month, reverse shadowing next month. And then we finalize that all by work stream with a test and validation and a readiness review. And as we noted last time, 2 of the work streams are complete, GAGR and OCAT, and we have some other work streams that are on the verge of being completed, even though they will not cut over until February. And then I do want to hand it over to Holly, who want to talk a little bit about county purchases and the transition of those.
Yeah, so I think I've mentioned this before. I've definitely brought it to some other forums as well for your fiscal and contract folks. But just to confirm, we are not making any changes to the county purchase process or guidelines. The criteria for the county purchases remains the same. We are asking counties to submit those requests via the ServiceNow tool that's already in place, rather than the emails that we sometimes get, just so we can keep better track of them. But for the infrastructure related county purchases, we did identify it's about 20 county purchases, of which 3 counties we're already working with, we're about to work with in the next day or so to get some updates applied to those. And then a few counties have network model changes. Meanwhile, already reaching out to those counties to work through those details. And then a number of them were already accounted for in a rebaseline effort for lobby devices. So those will simply term as planned and will no longer need a county purchase going forward for those. Our focus has been on the infrastructure as the priority, but we are also working through the county purchase that have an M&E component, and we'll be starting to work with those counties next. And the next slide actually provides the detail. I forgot to tell you, Jen, to advance the slide.
Okay, Marla. Thank you. Thank you for that update. I want to say that the transition is really important, and I appreciate the due diligence and the rigor that's going into this and ensuring that we don't have any gap in services for our customers or for our county workforce. So thank you for that work and thank you for the update. Open it up now for any board member comments or any comments from our state partners. Seeing and hearing no comments from the board or state partners, I'll open it up to any public comment. Seeing and hearing no public comment, we're ready to move on to the next item, and I'll give it back to you, Michael.
Thank you, Marla. You were doing a much better job than I do, so maybe you can just keep it the rest of the meeting. Okay, so are we on to?
Highlight.
Wow. Okay, all right. I didn't realize I was in the restroom then. Sorry.
TMI.
All right, yeah. Well, I was just fixing my hair. Okay. Yeah, you know, that's not true. Okay, county highlights. This is one of my favorite, areas. I really want to see us able to demonstrate things that are happening out there. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's the county highlight this time around.
Yeah, Ashley's gonna cue it up, and thank you to the County of Orange for sharing actually a video that they put together for it. But Ashley, can you cue it up for us?
Can you hear me? I'm having trouble with my camera and my Wi-Fi.
You're perfect.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. This month, we're excited to present some really amazing work that Orange County has done. If you were at CWDA, you may have seen their presentation, but they did a brilliant job of putting together a quick little video to really highlight how they're partnering with other agencies in their county to really extend services for their community and getting really measurable results in the process. So Jen, if you could play it, I think you're all going to really enjoy it.
The Social Services Agency and CalOptima Health together serve 1 in 3 Orange County residents. Knowing more could be done to support the nearly 1 million people receiving Medi-Cal, SSA Director An Tran and CalOptima Health CEO Michael Hun began looking for ways to leverage their agency's strengths. Good health requires good nutrition. With CalFresh, families can buy nourishing food. Both agencies knew some CalOptima Health members qualified for both Medi-Cal and CalFresh. To ensure members knew about and applied for CalFresh, SSA and CalOptima Health relied on their strengths. While CalOptima Health can't enroll clients in CalFresh, SSA can. And while SSA is limited in where it can message, CalOptima Health has a larger reach into the community, including doctors' offices. Flexibilities granted during the COVID-19 pandemic enabled CalOptima Health to use data sharing to see which of its members might also be eligible for CalFresh. CalOptima Health invested in a co-branded campaign, including text messages to more than 140,000 members in May 2022, and flyers touting how much a family of 4 could receive. All the materials were translated to increase reach into non-English speaking households. The efforts paid off, with Orange County seeing more growth in CalFresh clients than the statewide average. The partnership continued as Medi-Cal redeterminations came back into play in June of 2023. SSA shared data at 3 points: when a client's redetermination was coming up, in the middle of the month when their redetermination was due, and after the client's benefits were discontinued. While SSA sent reminders via mail, CalOptima Health amplified the message through text and direct outreach. In fact, CalOptima Health created a marketing campaign focused on 4 key messages: update your contact information, create or check your online account on benefitscal.com, check your mail, and complete your renewal form. The campaign was a success, driving nearly 1,000 changes in contact information each month. An and Michael took their messaging on the road, presenting at 10 city councils across Orange County. City leaders, in turn, asked for outreach events to connect their constituents to assistance programs. State leaders also got involved, filming PSAs shared across social media. The efforts paid off again, with most clients keeping their Medi-Cal. In the first 10 months of redeterminations, SSA served more than 10,000 residents at community events in 7 cities. Thanks to 150 community and county partners, cities, and elected officials, 4,200 boxes of food and 20,000 diapers were distributed. All the efforts and lessons learned in helping residents apply for CalFresh and keep their Medi-Cal meant Orange County was poised to get the word out about the Medi-Cal expansion to adults regardless of their immigration status that went into effect January 1st, 2024. Once again, Orange County would beat the statewide average. This journey wasn't without its hiccups. Unclear messaging led to alarm. Elected officials had high expectations of the assistance SSA and CalOptima Health could provide. But in the end, we learned to lean into one another's strengths to address our clients' needs holistically, beyond food or healthcare.
Good, and I think, one of the things that we wanted to, highlight through this is the power of partnerships, the power of co-branding, and how we can find the win-wins a lot with, partnerships with other organizations. And I did want to thank Lisa Salas because she went to the presentation and she said, you all have to see this. And so we said, hey, the other counties would really benefit from hearing this as well. So I really appreciate it. So that's my question.
Yeah, so thanks to Orange County. Hi, on if you're out there. But he was on camera and he got a little press time. So hopefully there was a.
On his sound, but Veronica's here, so I'll let him know.
All right, Veronica. I'm sure you got his approval to be on that camera like that. You look great. But what a great program. I think several other counties. I know LA County has something similar that we did with LA Care, and these partnerships are incredibly important for us to really get the word out. I think it mentioned up there that individuals trust their community partners more than they trust government in general, and that's, I think, a fairly accepted fact. Even though government's job is to keep working on that and working on it, we have to tap into the partners that are closest to them. So it's great to really see these and to bring these things forward and give them airtime. So thank you to Orange County for volunteering to be the county highlight this month, and I look forward to seeing the future ones coming forward. Any comments or questions from our state partners or our board members? Great.
Is this presentation available online or?
It will be.
It will be after the meeting.
Yep. I'll make it available. All right, any other comments or questions from our board members, state partners? Great, any public comment? All right, hearing none, I think we're down to our last agendized item.
Yeah, so this is our year in review. So we're adding a couple different pieces now to our meetings. The county highlight, which this is our third month doing it, but since we're at the end of 2024, I thought, it was appropriate for the counties and the consortium to do a victory lap. We've had a phenomenal year, a lot of change, a lot of transition, but a lot was accomplished this year. And so these are just a few quick highlights of where we're at and all that CalSAWS has accomplished together with the county. So with that, Mandy, there is a video.
A different one? Would be Cal Saws without a video, so I love that. You got a good media team. So, any other things you wanted to add on for that? All right.
Thank you to the team.
Great. Well, thank you for the year in review. That's a nice addition to start having in our meetings. I did want to just share in some parting thoughts to everybody. I want to wish everybody a very happy holiday. I know that many of you might be traveling and some of you may not, or bringing folks in. Some of that brings excitement and happiness, and some of it brings stress. And some folks are actually experiencing sorrow during the holidays. All those emotions are all real, and I shared this in a management meeting because I have mixed emotions through all of those. I have lost family members during the holidays, but I also have family coming over, and it's just, it sometimes can be a little overwhelming. So just, when you see each other out there, be grateful for the blessings you have. Appreciate the kind of things that others might be doing for you that you may not maybe take for granted. Give some grace, because we don't know what people are carrying with them, especially during the holidays, because it amplifies everything. And then offer support. You never know what just a gesture or an act of kindness to somebody might mean at a time like this. So just want to throw those 4 things out to everybody as we head into the holidays. I'm really glad you guys were able to stick with us through this meeting. Our next meeting is on January 30th. So we're just sneaking it into January, the very tail end. It will actually be a general membership meeting. So we will have all the directors of the 58 counties involved in that meeting. And it will be at 1:30. So towards the tail end of the day. So we'll have a 1:30 to 4:30 meeting. I'll try to make sure we're wrapped up before 4:30. And if there's nothing else, then meeting adjourned. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of your Friday.